any of you feel like going on a little exploration online, you can probably find an Indiegogo campaign from 2011 that I put together, and I did write a jingle for all of Natural Beauty, and I sing it in that video, so if you feel like checking it out. But good afternoon. This is so exciting to be here. I can't imagine now actually standing up and seeing all of these entrepreneurs in one place is really incredible, so it's amazing. But as you've heard, I'm Jess Lauren. I'm the owner and founder of Olive Natural Beauty Skincare, and I'm just honored to be here greeting you today at the annual Grinspoon Entrepreneurship Conference of 2015. I would like us, as we have done, to take a moment to say thank you to Mr. Grinspoon for all you've done for inspiring us and for entrepreneurship in the Valley, but also to Carrie Carpenter and the entire foundation. You've created a support system that just could never be replaced, so we thank you from all of us from the bottom of our hearts. And as you heard a little bit, for me, it's been a hard, interesting, but very fun road that I've been on, and I am excited to share my story with you, through which I hope you guys will learn what I like to call my non-business keys to being an entrepreneur. All are equally important and not necessarily something you learn in school, but I'll get back to those in a moment because I have a fun math problem for us, just what you wanted to do, right? But seriously, think about approximately how many products you use in one day. And when I mean products, I mean personal and skincare products. So I can help us think it through. We have things like shampoo, toothpaste, soap, deodorant, various makeup products. Really, the list can go on and on. You can think about it. But for the purpose of this, let's say on average, we each use 5 products a day, once a day. Now, have any of you ever studied an ingredients list on one of those products? I can tell you, good. I can tell you that each will probably have 20 or so ingredients, if not more. So to kind of finish our equation, that's 5 products a day multiplied by 20 ingredients in each product, equaling a various 100 foreign ingredients applied to our skin every day, once a day. Have you guys ever thought about that? That's a lot of stuff. So to come full circle, another really interesting thing is that your skin is actually the largest organ in your body and can absorb up to 60% of really anything that it touches or is applied to it. So in any given day, we are all absorbing parts of these various 100 ingredients through our skincare routine. Plus, how many of those ingredients are you actually familiar with? And by that I mean sure of what they do, what they are, where they come from, and why they're even in that product you're using in the first place. So I don't say this to scare you, it's more to show you guys the realization I had while pursuing this knowledge that sparked inspiration for my company. We are so concerned with what we eat and eating organic and regulating food production and consumption in our country because, I mean, we're putting it inside of our bodies, right? But when it comes to skincare and beauty care in the US, we really have turned a blind eye. The fact that the FDA has banned under 10 ingredients from being used in skincare products, while, let's say, like the European Union has banned almost 2,000 due to known harmful carcinogenic properties, was seriously the last straw for me. This is one of the many reasons why it's so important for all of us to know what we're putting on our skin, and one of the founding reasons I started Olive Natural Beauty Incorporated. I am the owner, founder, and chief formulator at Olive Natural Beauty Skincare. At Olive, we offer 100% natural and organic skincare solutions that focus on the incredible anti-aging and moisturizing benefits of olive oil for the skin. Our 24 product line is free of any harmful chemicals or synthetics, and our proprietary formula provides a truly safe and effective method for people everywhere to care for their skin, or something we at Olive like to call practicing safe skincare. So it actually wasn't throughout my entire life that I thought about what I put on my skin. It was while I was in college, and I had a couple people ask me this question when we were downstairs. So I landed a job managing C.O. Bigelow Apothecary, where I really started learning everything there was to know about skincare and the market and your skin and the anatomy of the skin. And this experience really just sparked this incredible passion in me. We offered at the store a variety of the top brands on the market, and as I was studying each, I learned of new ingredients that really perplexed me, and I felt like I had to learn more, and they just didn't really seem like something any of us should be putting on our skin. I thought, how could these companies create products containing things such as propylene glycol, which is also a main ingredient in antifreeze and known to be carcinogenic? Or what about the fact that the word fragrance on an ingredients label can be a concoction of over 3,000 different chemicals, none of which the company has to disclose, and many of which are being found to be neurotoxic? It's funny because I am Italian and I grew up with the most wonderful parents who are here today, an Italian mother, and we'd often visit my grandmother who now lives in Connecticut but immigrated here to the US from Abruzzi, Italy when I think she was only 17 years old. And as it had been passed down through generations, olive oil, specifically extra virgin olive oil, was a staple in everything we ate, and honestly did. There was never any butter on anything or any other oil used for cooking. I always joke, like, my grandpa would use it to slick his hair back or shine wood, and for my grandmother it was like, if you scraped your knee, here's some olive oil. How does the sauce taste? Use some olive oil. And even if everything was just fine, here's some olive oil. So obviously I love my family and my heritage, and as a lifelong olive oil fanatic, I had this weird wake-up call. And I was like, duh, I knew this was something I should be using on my skin more often. And regardless of what the industry was currently doing, I knew I had to do what felt right to me and to follow my gut. Now, why did I decide to embark on this particular journey? And why did I decide to make olive oil skincare products? I mean, in high school, like as you heard from Diane, I was obsessed with singing. Back then, I thought that was what I was gonna do for the rest of my life. And even when I did start Olive Natural Beauty, many people told me I was crazy to become involved in such a crowded industry. I was somewhat terrified to pursue business in an industry where I was literally going against everything the large players and big companies stood for. Would I get in trouble? Would I get squashed out? Was this the silliest thing I had ever done? The industry I was entering into was not set up for a consumer to win, and it was not set up for a small business to win either. But all I knew was that what the industry was doing felt very wrong to me, and I needed to make a change. This is when I learned I had to follow my gut. I wanted people everywhere to know that they should be wary of what they're putting on their skin, because experts in the industry aren't necessarily looking out for their well-being or the well-being of the planet. You don't necessarily learn in school a new way to do something that's never been done before. To not let a preconceived notion or a lifelong industry confine you because that's the way it's always worked. To trust what you feel is right and move forward and work hard to do just that. Even if those 1,000 textbooks that you've read say to do it one way and that makes you feel funny, don't do it. And I'm not supporting illegal activity or bad intentions, but more so the idea of being creative with what you've got. Being, like Diane said, a resourceful entrepreneur. Why I say these things is because without this, Olive Natural Beauty would have never come to be. There are so many ways in which you can be an entrepreneur, so many different ideas to pursue, ideas to dream into reality, people to meet. But I feel as though as entrepreneurs, we have these 3 key pillars in common. Being passionate enough to not be afraid to pursue knowledge, trust your gut, and through that, persevere. What I hope that you walk away with today is to know that being an entrepreneur, of course, takes a lot of hard work. You have to be tough, and most people fail. But it also takes a person confident enough to seek out the information to do the right thing. When I started my company, I didn't know much about owning a company, let alone running a manufacturing business with over 404,000 units in purchase orders this year alone. Never did I dream I would ever do this. Nor did I dream that I would be selected to participate in Valley Venture Mentors, an incredible entrepreneurship mentorship program here in the Valley that you heard about, and I encourage you all to check out. Nor would I have dreamed that I would become the winner of the first ever Valley Venture Mentors Accelerator program and walk away with a $35,000 grant. And I can't say that I knew what to do when the most expensive piece of equipment that I purchased, which I purchased to make us more efficient, broke after one use. But what I found is that in all of these moments I mentioned, good or bad, it is most important to not be afraid, as silly as that may sound, and move forward knowing that you can find the information and you can figure it out. I went against every way the skincare industry had been set up. You can imagine there was probably no textbook or expert who could have told me what to do starting out. And it wasn't an easy transition out of college either. Did any of you know that I actually started making my products in the kitchen of my apartment? Wasn't glamorous. And I've had to work additional full-time and part-time jobs just up until last May to support myself and focus on Olive Natural Beauty's success. But because of these choices I made and my perseverance, I still to this day own 100% of my company and create all of my products from start to finish in our company's facility in East Hampton, Massachusetts. Because of this perseverance, Olive Natural Beauty is now sold in over 30 retail outlets around the US and Canada, has been featured on the front of Business West in the Hampshire Gazette, and has over 1.5 million views on YouTube. Because of this perseverance, Olive Natural Beauty won the first ever VVM Accelerator Awards. A short story about this perseverance was when I started my company. I had no one to help me design labels. I couldn't have hired anyone because I had no money, and I honestly didn't even know any graphic designers at the time. So I took it upon myself, and I went and I learned Adobe Photoshop and InDesign in my school's computer lab and made them myself. Now, I wouldn't recommend this, as it was not the most efficient way to do it, but I had heard so many people say, no store is ever gonna buy a product with a home printed label on it. I even had my own concerns that the printing wouldn't look professional enough, but voila. There my products were 2 years later on the shelves of a local apothecary, computer printed in all of their glory. Printing the labels on my computer was literally the last thing I wanted to do. But the point is, I had to be an entrepreneur to get where I was trying to go. I had to be resourceful and I had to persevere. When I was in college, I had this vision that I would run Olive Natural Beauty as a one-woman show. Plus, you think, since I built every element of it, I could just manage it all. Well, talk about being a control freak. If there is anything I can't stress enough to you guys today, it's that to run well and efficiently, a company, even the smallest startup, needs a team. You need people around you who can support you, whether mentors, board of advisors, family, someone or a few somebodies who won't just get up and leave when things get tough. This person or these people are key. People that are invested just as you are. And I don't mean financially, because if your company works out, we'll all get paid. But I mean passionately. Someone who you have synergy with. I'll bring up a story about the time when I thought I had found the perfect person to partner with me on Olive. She was incredibly smart, successful in our industry, brought what I had thought was the missing piece to the puzzle, but I had never met her before. She came at the utmost highest recommendation, but everything I had heard about her was just in writing. So I decided to go meet with her and see if there was a chance for a mutual partnership. But there was no synergy. We laid out our goals and what we both hoped to learn and get out of the partnership and requirements to start. I was focused on sticking very hard to the reasons that I started my line. She was less worried or interested in the fact that my products were natural. I mean, she was selling for one of these big companies that I had mentioned. So after only 3 meetings, we found that it was not the right time to partner. The company was too small for what she was expecting, and I was, well, maybe too stubborn to change my ways back to the way the industry had always done it. The point I'm trying to make here is that you never know who it will be that will bring that next level to your startup. Don't be shy. It's not always the person that sounds best on paper, but also trust yourself. Don't let a situation that seems too good to be true fool you. A more positive example of this for me was when I had a successful gentleman offer me an opportunity to invest in Olive Natural Beauty. And at this point, my company was still small, so the skeptical part of me kept thinking, what does this guy see? Especially because most of his investments had been in tech, and he didn't really know anything about the industry I was operating in. But in a very candid moment, I asked him just that. And he said to me, why am I doing this? Because I'm investing in you, Jess. I believe in you. If not Olive Natural Beauty, it will be something else that you will do amazing things with and change the world. This moment has always stuck in my mind in such a positive way. This, I can imagine, is the very reason why Mr. Grinspoon and the foundation created this amazing event for all of us today. In that moment, my mentor saw in me the 3 keys to being an entrepreneur that I had discussed. He saw that I was incredibly passionate about trusting my gut, and if I didn't know the answer, I would pursue the knowledge that I needed to persevere and get there. I hope you take this incredible opportunity to expand and build your network, to meet all different types of people, people who believe in your idea, people who believe in you, people who are experts at something that, hey, maybe you've never even thought of before. Connect with all of these other people interested in entrepreneurship. This is such a unique opportunity that Mr. Grinspoon and the foundation have created for the 5-college area, and not one I see often, if ever. Help someone solve an issue or brainstorm an idea. Who knows who you will meet that will help you do the same. Also, this event doesn't end today. This network is ever growing. So thank you for taking the time to hear my story. And thank you again to Mr. Grinspoon, Carrie Carpenter, the entire foundation, as well as Diane Doherty, the Small Business Association, for helping me. It's been an absolute pleasure to share my story with you, and I hope you all can take something insightful away from it. I hope one day, too, that it will be one of you up here telling us your amazing journey, because I know that any one of you could do it. Remember, being an entrepreneur doesn't mean knowing everything there is to know. Being an entrepreneur takes a passionate person who is not afraid to pursue knowledge, trust their gut, and persevere. So I'll leave you with this. There will always be people who have good ideas, but it is the people who never give up that will truly change the world. True failure only happens when those who have passion stop trying. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's a great question. There have been many, and I actually had someone downstairs I was talking to ask me, in hindsight, what would you have done differently? And kind of what you guys probably heard in my speech was I was hammering a lot on team and partnering with the right people and the people that you have synergy with. And I've been really lucky to find some amazing people to help me. But in hindsight, when I was first starting on my business, and one of the hardships kind of is finding those right people. When I was starting out, I was like making 4 lotions in my kitchen and having my roommates try them, but there were some people back then that were really interested in what I was doing and passionate about what I was doing. And at that point, they didn't see everything that you guys see today because, hey, it hadn't happened. But I think one of the biggest hardships for me is still to this day finding those people that have that passion. And one of the things I would say to you guys is if you do meet someone who you have that synergy with and has that passion, don't let it pass by. Hang on to that and really try to empower those people, because that's really what will bring your company to the next level. So I would say that has definitely been a big hardship. And then, manufacturing tons of stuff has been hard too and figuring that out, but it's been really fun. That's a great question. And, it's funny because you guys probably go into like a grocery store and you go to the beauty section, there's literally like a billion brands. So, when I'm telling people when I'm first starting out, I'm making lip balms and, in my kitchen, and everyone's like, good luck with that. It's such a crowded industry. There's so many different things going on. You better just stop while you're ahead. And I think part of me, whether it's stubborn or perseverance, was there was something that didn't feel right to me in the industry. And yes, there's so many brands out there, but they're all doing the same thing. They're all not helping people. They're not putting out transparent products, and there are more and more products coming out in the market that are. But I think when those moments came up, I just had to stick true and be confident and persevere through it and say to myself, yes, that's one person's opinion, but I feel like I have found something stronger here, and stick hard to that. So, and then I would say it also, though, when people said that to me, it made me go out and do research. So when someone said that to me, I would say, well, that's actually not true, because olive oil is the 3rd leading luxury product behind chocolate and coffee. And they're only, and so knowing my industry and really being an expert at what I was doing, it honestly, it pushed me and made me better. So even though, you have sometimes people saying, oh, what are you doing? I would be wary, just don't go in blind, but make sure, you know your stuff. So I would say it honestly probably helped me become stronger. So it's interesting because something that I didn't really don't think I really understood when I started my business was, this is a manufacturing business. I'm thinking, oh, this awesome brand, I'm putting out these great products. But when someone places a big order, you actually have to manufacture 100,000 of them, and that's way different. So it had taken me a while to get to a place where I could invest in this machine that I was talking about. And although it wasn't that fabulous and amazing, it did break after just using it a couple times, and it was really frustrating. And we had already begun production. We had gone underway. It's obviously, as you guys can probably imagine, being in school, you have very scheduled and things have to happen in perfect timing. But luckily, since I had learned a lot about the manufacturing business leading up until that point, I knew we had something like this might happen. So we had cut extra time into our schedule, and it wasn't the end of the world because I was able to contact the company, and I actually, instead of having them replace, I had a friend come and help me fix it. So it's not as glamorous of a story as it might seem, but it was something that it was more of a morale hit to our team, because we're like, oh great, we got this all up and running, and then the one thing that we had spent the most money on, that we had spent to make us more efficient, just set us back so far. So it just goes to show you can try and do everything perfect, and something out of your control can happen. So you just gotta stay positive and keep going. That's a great question. Thank you for asking me. And it's actually funny because on average, I think most women use 12 products a day. So, it's just something fun to think about. Go back, and even if you love your product, I was talking with someone, they were like, I love this product, but I'm not sure if it's safe. Go look at the ingredients and look them up online. You guys should all check out the Skin Deep database. You just go on Google and search it, and you can actually search any particular ingredient, and it will give you a rating on how safe it is. But go back to where you find All of Natural Beauty. You can always go to allofnaturalbeauty.com. I will be here through the rest of the event. If you have any questions, I have some products on display downstairs, which I can show you. And you can always email me with questions. But the most local store to this that we sell it is Joya Beauty, and they're a wonderful apothecary in Northampton, Massachusetts. But if you're out kind of more towards Boston, we also sell on Boston Olive Oil Company on Newbury Street. So it's two great places, or online. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for having me.